So this is going to be a dry run of a segment that I have in mind. Um, this one will probably end up on YouTube, although I don't think it'll be formatted in any too fancy kind of a way. What I've been wanting to do is sort of um, share what was formative for me. There's been, it's kind of been a lot of what I do here is, you know, ramble about the stuff that made me who I am, for better or for worse. And of that, one of the big things that made me who I am was a set of books that was, you know, it was left here by my folks. My dad, growing up, he played a lot of D&D, and he played it with his brothers and with other people. And so he had a stash of old first edition, AD&D, Monster Manual 1, Fiend Folio, um, DMG, the Player's Handbook, a couple of setting books, and that's what I had to work with. Now, I didn't really, growing up, have anybody that I could necessarily share this with. Um, it was just kind of me, this brown cardboard tote with a blue bag that had a bunch of these old manuals just kicking it. And so many, many, many times, I wonder if, how I stacked up versus people who are actually playing the game. I'll never get numbers on that, of course, but I would just kind of sit down and take a look, and I would page through these manuals and just get ideas. And I'd think, what could this adventure look like? What could that look like? What would these heroes look like? And I'd make characters, and I'd make my own monsters, and I'd make my own worlds. But unfortunately, up until, it took another decade and change passing before I actually had a proper chance to actually play the game. At which point, it was far out of date from what I had been acclimated to. The art style had really gone quite a great distance since then. But the same basic feeling remained. And so I did end up getting to sort of share, my little guys. I got to do some really fun. My first D&D adventures were some of my favorite, but I was never, at that point, I was not good at it. I was well researched. Like, I knew the whole bestiary, if you would, but I wasn't very adept at playing with other players until I eventually found a good long-term group, and I've been gaming with them ever since. I remember my very first ever character that I played a proper game with. He was a bard, because I thought that might be fun. Only later did I kind of learn the whole D&D fandom idea of what a bard is, and that's I think the idea of the super horny bard that wants to put his dick in everything is passe. It's old. It's played out. It's not. It wasn't even very funny in the first place. Like, haha, he have good charisma, and so he rolled to seduce. When you're at like an actual table with a bunch of people, barring, I'm sure, some groups that exist, but like generally, right? You know, my experience and one of the rules that I sort of stuck by is the whole roll to seduce is at best counterproductive and boring, and at worst just a wildly uncomfortable experience. A little later on in the night, I will describe how I had like a sort of a first DM. Think of like a DM 0.5 before I got to like a proper group. Was a pickup group at a local game shop, and it was just not great. Later on in the night, I'll discuss that whole situation. Um, but as it stands now, we're just gonna look at the little funny guys, the little pictures that made me who I am. Maybe that's, you know, it for the longest time meant a whole ton to me. Like I said, you got to put yourself in the headspace of like a 9 or 10 year old who has not really anybody to hang out with, anybody to do this game with, just these ancient tomes and a basement. And so I just looked at this, and it was the wonder was incredible. So we're gonna look through this, and we're gonna look at some of my favorite monsters. We're gonna look at some of the art. Like I said, this is a dry run of a segment that I have planned. I intend to do an actual art stream where we go over, specifically for the first one, my favorite fantasy art, and a lot of it is present in this book, so consider this a sneak peek, but other fantasy art is present elsewhere. And let's see how... Yeah, that's clear enough. You don't really need it to be much bigger on the screen, as I'll be reading or describing most of what we see here today. So the Fiend Folio was an additional manual to the first AD&D book, and you'll see that a lot of these things have kind of changed somewhat over time. Wow, that text is maybe a little bit smaller than I bargained for, huh? Well, if we see something that we like, we can always look a bit closer. This is what we thought the Aarakocra would look like back then. It's my understanding it's a little bit different now. Aarakocra's fine. Then you get some weird shit, right? Like the Akairai? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I don't think anyone has pronounced the name of this monster since the year 1989. At the latest. It's... There's a bunch of just whack shit in here. It's like a little stilt bird thing. Though the foul motives which caused these loathsome birds to first be summoned from the infernal regions are now lost from memory. Remnants of the original Akairai flock still stalk the earth, haunting shadowy places and underground passages. In form, they consist of a huge spherical head body. You love it when it's a hyphenated head body, with a powerful beak and feathery crest. Atop 4 long legs ending in strong claws, man-sized opponents cannot usually attack the soft body, but can only reach the hard, metallic, apparently, legs. Likewise, it will not usually be able to reach a victim with its beak, and will therefore fight with 2 claws, doing 1 to 8 points of damage each. So the design of this monster is, frankly, it's fucked. It's too tall to attack. It's too tall to eat. Its legs are metal, apparently. It has a head body. And it's from the infernal regions. So we have this orb bird from hell, is the second monster in the book. And I think that's just great. A lot of the shit in this manual is just whack garbage. Like, a ton of this stuff maybe would see into second edition, but it wouldn't see much further than that. It's just full of nonsense, right? You got the Adherer. This curious creature bears a close resemblance to a mummy, man-sized and with loose folds of dirty white skin, which appear on first sight to be a mummy's bandages. So it's just like a wrinkly, floppy dude. He's so wrinkly and floppy that he appears to be clothed. Coincidentally, the creature is just as vulnerable to fire as is a mummy due to the resinous solvent in its bodily fluids. And then it has C, another thing. It is immune to all first-level magic user spells except Magic Missile. So it's inexplicably just immune to first-level magic. Magic missile, which causes it 3 to 18 points of damage per missile. The creature's skin constantly exudes a sour-smelling glue-like substance. So it's a wrinkly glue boy. With very powerful adhesive properties. I gotta zoom in this a little bit more for you guys. That is a little tough to see. That might be a little bit better. Is that better? Nah, we're gonna back it out. We'll just zoom in as needed. You really don't need to see the text. I can read that for you, and we're here for the art. Seasonal Rose says leg. We talking about the leg bird or the leg man? Because this is art for a guy who is not. We're not even on his page. He gets art a page early. Currently, we're discussing the adherer, a guy who is so wrinkly and floppy that he appears to be wearing clothes. I'll save you the rest of the read on this thing. The short of it for the adherer is he's just a sticky boy. He walks around sticking to things, and then he'll stick to you, and then he'll kind of wrestle you until you're dead, and then that's just what he does. He's only normally rare, which is strange. You'll notice most things in this manual are very rare. The art that we were seeing here, and this is good fantasy art, but it's not really what I'm looking for. It has a couple of anatomical weirdnesses that could use some work. This is fine, but it gets better. It gets so much better than this. I'm looking for a couple of specific images. The Aliax, this is a guy who, if you piss off your god, will summon like a really good version of you to kick your ass. And if you somehow beat it, all is forgiven, and then you get to be the Aliax, or at least serve your god for a year and a day, and then he lets you go home with a prize. It's a little silly. We're going to juice this screen size just a little bit. That's... There we go. That's better. Should be a little more legible, but again, that's not really what I care to do. It doesn't really matter. If you look really close, you'll see it. And if you want me to zoom in on anything or give a read about a specific monster, just point it out. I'll be more than happy to discuss a given monster. The Algoid. It's just a green guy. It's just a guy. There's nothing special about him. He's a green guy. Apparently he's a very rare green guy, but he is a green guy nonetheless. There we go. That's a bit better. Sorry, I know I'm tweaking stuff on the fly, but you gotta forgive me for that. This is a... It's a mess. He can control trees. The trees that exist in his habitat. He's boring. You got a little unicorn rabbit fella. He is just kind of runs around. He's a unicorn rabbit, and he stabs you with his horn. Its intellect is severely limited, and its behavior unpredictable. For instance, it may well attack for no good reasons. If it is captured alive when young, the beast shows a surprising aptitude for training, and its fearlessness makes it a useful companion. So this is like, as a DM, you would say, oh, there's a funny bunny with a horn, and you manage to smush it. Sorry, 2 to 20 funny bunnies. And you kill it, and you're like, oh, there's some baby bunnies. And then you steal the baby bunnies, and you train it to have like a unicorn rabbit friend. Which, maybe that's what you're into. It seems a bit plain. Apparition. It's a ghost. A ghost with extra rules. Even though the victim may be aware that the apparition cannot physically do them harm, the suggestion is immensely strong. The victim, so let's see, ESP, basically it moves shit around, and it looks like it's going to hurt you, and it's so scary that that hurts you. It's not it hurting you, it's you getting scared of it hurting you, even though you know it can't. It's a little dumb. Assassin Bug is one that quickly got kicked out of D&D. This guy sucks. It's just a bug, and it fights you, and then it lays bugs in you. It's silly. It's not what I'm looking for. The Babbler. It's just a crazy lizard man. The Burbalang is kind of cool, but he is kind of a long read. There's just a bunch of shit going on with him. No, we're here for something in particular. And you might note, looking at this, I love this. All the monochrome, the black and white ink art, just printed like this. Ooh, that's some primo shit. It's got a certain sort of a style to it. I think maybe the closest thing I could describe it to is it looks like a image that you might see in an encyclopedia, which is to say representative of the whole, but also like interesting enough that you'd want to look at it. For those of you that, as a kid in the early 2000s, were ever so bored that they read a fucking encyclopedia, yeah, I was one of them. Let's see. The Blind Heme. It's a frog that shoots like eye lasers or some shit. Subterranean creature is a yellow frog-like humanoid with huge eyes that shine like searchlights. While in repose, the beast keeps its eyes turned off by means of an extra eyelid. However, it can attack instantaneously by opening its eyes, and its acute sense of hearing will usually indicate to it the direction of its target. Those who come within its beams at range of 30 feet or less must save, as against wands, or be blinded for 11 to 20 turns. You'd never see that in today's D&D. That's like, that's a long ass time. That's 2 minutes. That's like a real flashbang. Those not blinded will still be unable to look directly at it. So its effective armor class is 1. However, if for any reason the attacker is immune to bright light, its true armor class is 3. It's alright. Bone Snapper, just a dinosaur with extra steps. The Carbuncle. This is the sort of garbage that you'd see, and I mean this politely, the sort of nonsense that you would see in old D&D. It's just like a little guy. This creature is similar to an armadillo with an armored upper surface of small interlocking plates. Of tough leathery skin, it feeds exclusively on leaves and small insects and is rarely found outside areas. Rarely found outside areas, such as woodland and marshland, where there is copious supply of such food. Its upper surface armoring is attractively patterned in shades of brown, while its underbody is light gray flecked with small green patches. Set in its head, immediately above its eyes, is a large ruby. This is actually part of the animal, and if the beast dies, the ruby will shatter into worthless dust. The creature may, however, be coaxed into giving up its ruby by a wizard. Come on. It's like a little fella for your wizard to talk to, and it shoots a chaos emerald out of its head. Or anyone else of equal status, apparently, who uses a charm monster or charm animal ability. The gem is usually 70% chance, 500 GP value, though rare specimens, 25%, have 1000 GP gems, and a 5% chance that the carbuncle will have a 5000 GP gem. If successfully removed, a carbuncle's gem will regrow at a rate of 100 GP per month. The value of the gem may change each time it regrows. Little guys just love wizard. I can relate. Hey, that's my whole channel's branding as a little wizard. It's just, what kind of storytelling are you meant to do with this, right? I think he's a little boring. Because then you get like this next line. Oh, wow, it's actually, I can highlight. If attacked, it puts up no resistance and is easily captured. It can will itself to die, however. It has no fear or conception of death, and will give up its life if placed under duress. It will usually approach a party of adventurers and communicate the value of its gem to them, seeking to accompany the party. When the objective has been achieved, however, and it has gained the confidence of the party, its malicious nature will lead it to try to cause disruption within the group, using selective telepathy and prophecies, true and false, to breed hostility, suspicion, and even fighting between party members. Alternatively, but rarely, it may communicate secretly with nearby monsters to enrage them into attacking the party. Its motives for spreading such dissidence are not entirely clear. Oh, something just happened. What do we got there? Oh, got a subscription from Redanian with Prime. Thank you very much. I super appreciate that. Today we're just poking around some old D&D books, looking at the art, looking at some of the dumb monsters that didn't make the cut. So yeah, it's just a little fella. Holy shit, I love the carbuncle. You like the carbuncle? The carbuncle, pardon me, dude, the carbuncle fucking sucks. He's just a little guy that shoots a chaos emerald out of his head and then tries to get people to fight. Why? Like what do you do with him? He's one of those like E rank monsters that like it's out there, sure, but I'd have a hard time. He sounds like a Pokemon. Seasonal Rose is absolutely correct. He seems much more Pokemon coded than he does seem D&D monster coded. Now, the real geniuses among you would realize that you can get the gem from him, and then you can eat him. He's great for an encounter that revolves around deception rather than combat. But like, how smart is he, right? It has his intelligence level. Intelligence level low. He's dumb as fuck. He's got substandard intelligence. Sorry, low to average on the upper end. I'm not sure how good of a deceptor he'd be. Like, hey, your buddy's trying to steal the gem from me, but I want you to have it. It seems a little bit silly. I am curious what sort of prompted this guy to exist, because I do know that a bunch of the old D&D first edition and Fiend Folio critters, exactly, who wouldn't trust a guy like that? Okay, maybe you're onto something, because I see this dumb little fucker walking around, and I'm like, if I don't see the gem, I'm looking at him like dinner. As soon as I see the gem, I'm looking at him like a payday and dinner. And as soon as he starts talking to me, I guess I'd be caught off guard by him talking to me. And then he starts dropping low intelligence prophecies on me. I think I would be... You know what? You might be onto something. He's so stupid, no one could accuse him of maliciousness. I'm curious what his prophecies might look like. That's what I'm most interested in. All the party needs is one druid to start arguing for animal rights. It'd be even scarier if he refused to talk to the druid and instead is just like prophesying to the rogue. Like, how does the party handle that? Okay, you know what? The prophecy bit is indeed neat. Now I'm wondering if the prophecies are real, or if he's just like, a spooky ghost will find you sometime next week. Alright, you know what? Oh god, I should make a tier list of everything in the Fiend Folio. Pretends to be a divine messenger to the party cleric. He looks sufficiently divine. I mean, he's got a big gem in his head. Yeah, we may need to do a tier list of everything in old D&D. That's an idea we'll have to come back to. Carbuncle, you get a C+. I'm moving you up from E. You do get a passing grade only because it seems the class kind of enjoys your company and you have potential. Apply yourself, see me after class, we'll make it work. Okay, so here's a couple of good ones. The Sifal. This thing's gross. This thing fucking sucks. The Sifal, the name is acronymic of Colonial Insect Formed Artificial Life, is an agglomeration, now that's a $10 word, of several swarms of insects, several 100,000 insects to each swarm, which come together to form a single amorphous creature about man-sized. So every ant, every June bug, every fucking what are those little worms that you feed your geckos? Mealworm? Imagine a million of those fuckers decide to stack themselves on top of each other to become a dude. Why it would become a dude, I'm not sure. Maybe we'll learn. The mass as a whole has 8 hit dice, while another 2 hit dice are involved in providing the nuclear energy required to keep the constituent swarms locked in a single body. He's an atomic bug man. Jesus Christ. I remember a bunch of these, but some of these I'm foggy on. I don't remember the nuclear bug lad, though. It is from the hit points of the latter 2 hit dice that the initial damage is extracted, and if these hit points are lost, the mass of the body will separate into its individual component insects, at which point the insects will fly away at 24-something rate. I think that's feet. They will only attack and defend in the mass body form. However, the hit point of the binding force may be replaced from the hit points of the remainder of the mass body. It's got weird rules that aren't necessary. Like, it's a bug held together by the nuclear energy of all the other bugs, and if its overall binding force has been lessened, it can purloin the atomic power of another group of bugs in its constituent mass to keep powering itself. Sifal, that's F rank. That's a garbage monster. Sifal sucks. I'll say it. But then you get here's just a bird. It's a bird. It's a big ass bird. It hunts people. Coffer corpse. It's a... Well, this guy has a little bit more going on with him, if I recall. Oh, fuck. We got here to my favorite. Begone, robot. We don't keep robots here. Ban. Goodbye, robot. We're going to skip the coffer corpse, and we're going to go to one of my all-time favorites. I love the Crypt Thing. In fact, we're going to zoom way in so that you can get a good look at him. You see him? That's the Crypt Thing. I fucking love the Crypt Thing. There's a bunch of text about him. Crabmen, they suck. They're vaguely crab, they're vaguely man, but I don't think they're enough crab or man to be kind of called a crab man. Mordanian, you could never be more wrong. The Crypt Thing is the ultimate generic Skelly, because the Crypt Thing is a total dickhead. I love the Crypt Thing. We're going to zoom out so I can read this. How does the zoom look? Nope, got to fix it again. There we are. A pale, solitary skeletal being which always wears a brown hooded robe. The Crypt Thing stays in its lair permanently. At least, none have been encountered elsewhere. So, he's a homebody. He hangs out at home. I can respect it. He likes to wear a shitty brown robe. It's fine. I got a robe. I wear it sometimes. It's great. They've never been encountered elsewhere and will not attack if it is left undisturbed. So if you fuck with him, he'll fuck with you. But if you leave him be, he's fine to just let you kick it in his crypt. Its special power is its unfailing ability to cast an improved form of teleportation spell on a party, once per party encountered, so just once. Those who fail to make their saving throw are instantly teleported according to a percentile die roll on the table below. 1 to 100 feet 100 to 1,000 feet north, south, east, west, 1 dungeon level up or 1 dungeon level down. If there's nothing above him, well, you'll see. Distance and direction are determined individually for each victim teleported. Victims never arrive in solid material and will arrive in the closest open space to the target spot. If the target spot is solid, however, victims need not arrive at floor level. Those who make their saving rolls may attack the Crypt Thing, but it can only be hit by magic weapons. The Crypt Thing will attack in return using a two-handed clawing motion, which inflicts 1 to 8 points of damage. The Crypt Thing can communicate in the neutral tongue, but if it is questioned on the disappearance of some party member, it will not reveal its power, but will instead maintain they have been disintegrated. There are rumored to be aberrant Crypt Things in existence which, instead of teleporting, paralyze them and simultaneously turn them invisible. Neither this nor the more common type feeds on victims. Their aim appears to be solely that of obtaining pleasure by creating confusion and dissent. The Crypt Thing is a total prick, because he just sort of hangs out, and then you come by to visit him, and if you displease him, he'll fucking... and then suddenly half your buddies are gone. Instantly, perfectly teleported away. And you're like, yo, what the fuck did you do? And he just says, I disintegrated them. Asshole. What are you going to do about it? Dick. They're gone. And then you can try to hit him, but unless you have good shit, you can't even hurt him. He just kind of sits back in his brown robe and he goes, fuck you. They got no idea. Or the other one, it's like, this guy and the carbuncle are best buddies, lying to parties and causing confusion for the hell of it. The Crypt Thing, I think I can respect a bit more, maybe because he's roughly humanoid, and that's easier for me to wrap my head around. But also, like, he's just a funny skeleton man. He hangs out in his house, and if you displease him, he fucking gets rid of you. Like, yeah, you're fine, probably, at the end of the day. But your friends don't know that. Your friends think you've been sent to fucking super hell. But you're okay. Ultimately, probably not too harmful. He's just an asshole. He gets nothing out of this. He has nothing special. Hang on, let's take a look at his treasure table. We'll get to this later. There's just one in the area. Treasure type Z. So he has weird treasure. We'll go over the treasure table in a minute. He's just a prick. And I really like him. He gets nothing out of this. He just sits in his house all day long. Like, this is how I imagine it is living... This is how I imagine it is living in Texas, right? Where you're just waiting for someone to break into your house so you can shoot him. I assume that's how it is living in Texas. Where they just, like, that I think is probably just like an unspoken value that your average Texan holds. This guy is the D&D equivalent of a Texan. You come in, you show that you're maybe a little bit not nice, and he just fucking gets rid of you. He just waits. He's waiting to use that Second Amendment. Except he's better, because he doesn't actually kill you. Mordanian says, I'm gonna make a dungeon where a carbuncle tries to lead the party to a Crypt Thing. The level of destructive power that the two of them together could possess is, frankly, frightening. Alright, we still have everything on the screen. This looks good still. Dakon, it's just a smart gorilla. Dark Creeper, they're like anti-hobbits. They're little rogues, and they run around and they stab you. They got a Dark Stalker that leads them. And that's fine. Death Dog. The original Death Knight I really dig, because they have some weird extra rules that happen with them which doesn't happen elsewhere. And I'm wondering if it's here or if it's in the second edition for the Death Knight. And they have other cool stuff, like there's only 12 of them, and they're very powerful. The Death Knight, and there are only 12 of these dreadful creatures known to exist, is a horrifying form of lich. So they're also liches at this point. Created by a demon prince, it is thought, Demogorgon, from... Oh, the thing popped up on the side, threw me off. Thought to be Demogorgon from a fallen human paladin. The Death Knight itself, and that's also interesting because normally you turn yourself into a lich. Demogorgon is doing this to paladins. So it's assigned lichdom, which is unique. Cannot be turned or dispelled through as though it is affected by holy word, has the power over undead equivalent to that of a 6th level cleric, 75% magic resistance. I'm not really sure how you do you roll to see if the spell even goes off, or do you take the effect and divide it by 4? Unclear. And 11 or lower is rolled on a percentage die. A magic spell will be reflected. So if you do really bad on your percentage die roll, you get reflected. Where is the thing I'm looking for? Always treated as blah blah blah. Usually be riding a nightmare. One of which is summoned to serve a death knight every 10 years. Continually generates fear. Can create wall of ice. Okay, bummer. So that they flesh it out in 2nd edition, where one of the times where the Death Knight is weak is on the anniversary of the crime. Because in this one, they're just sort of turned into a Death Knight as a paladin. In the other one, it's a punishment for what they did. And so every year on the day of their crime, say you killed his wife or something, right? The Death Knight is forced to recount the entirety of its crime in song. And I think that's great. Give more monsters some dumb fucking rule. Like once a year he has to sing a song about what a bad boy he is. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and I love it. This is what they thought Lolth should look like. Then you get some more weird shit. Like, what the fuck is a Denzelian? It's just a floppy dude, and he kind of, well, I'll read it. A peaceful rock eater, very thin, but a large surface area, tunnels through solid rock at a rate of 1, I'm going to call that foot, per week, slowly wearing it away. Generally 1 male and 1 female tunnel near each other. The creature will avoid metal, making a detour around even small metal deposits. Hence, Denzelian tunnels tend to follow a meandering course. Because they look like stone, have a repulsive smell, and are indigestible, Denzelians are rarely bothered by flesh eaters. During its 1,000-year lifespan, the Denzelian female ovulates once only. If a male is nearby, and one usually is, the resulting litter contains 3 to 8 eggs, which hatch in 100 years. The eggs look like nondescript fist-sized stones. The chance of finding a single egg, for they are not deposited together, in an area are frequented by Denzelian female is 1 in 1,000. An egg is worth 1,000 gold pieces. I'm not really sure how a DM would go about using the Denzelian. Or, are you actually gonna, roll on the fucking Denzelian table for Denzelian eggs? It's dumb. Denzelian, at least it's unique. but it's kind of shit. The Disenchanter. In case the Rust monster wasn't to fuck you enough, the Disenchanter just eats the magic out of your weapon. Total dick move. Disenchanters suck. They... Oof. They actually try to attack your items. It says here, you are a prick if you put a Disenchanter in your dungeon. Don't fucking do that. They've got a bunch of Oriental dragons, as they called them back in the day. We don't really use that one so much anymore. Vaguely, Eastern dragons are here. Some with better designs than others. Kind of straightforward. Dune Stalker. He is just a guy. Kind of seems like the reverse of Dune. Oh, hang on. No, I've read this wrong. The Dune Stalker's attack is usually by sonic vibration. A vile naked human in appearance, bony with long sharp fingers and clawed toes. The Dune Stalker. So he's just this naked guy with long nails, pitter-pattering around. It roams desert in response to summons from high-level evil magicians. It will attack good characters only. It's like, yeah, but like, how good is good? If you're just a normal guy, I guess, how do they judge who is good? And like, what's your goodness threshold? Does donating to a church that morning make you good? Do they just kind of beat you up a little bit less for that? It's unclear. There's a few more elemental princes of evil. I really like Ogremok. Look at this fucker. He's just some lumpy lad. A rough, apparently unfinished bipedal form, 10 feet tall. A 24 hit die monster, striking twice for 5 to 50 points. Evil earth creatures. Pretty straightforward. You'll note there's a lot of lumpy, unformed dudes. This is the Drow. Were not in first edition. They were introduced in the Fiend Folio. And there is a lot of shit here. Notably, Drow are total manlets. They are just way shorter than your average elf. They're like, what? It says here somewhere. It's something like 5'4" at the most. Total manlets. It's kind of funny. But also, what I'm more... we all know what the fuck a drow is. What I'm more interested in is the enveloper. And it is basically a mass of malleable flesh in the form of a rough cylinder, 8 feet tall and 3 feet in circumference. So basically it's a flesh tube. And what this guy will do is, upon encountering you, he will start roughly molding himself to look like you, and then he'll try to kill you. And then once that's done, he starts molding himself to look like somebody else. He's basically ditto the D&D monster. He's not really any better than you, but the longer lived he is, the more HP he has. So at best identical, but with more HP. Just a lumpy fucker. Okay, this is the other guy I really wanted to cover. Not the Ettercap. The Ettercap sucks. The Eye Killer sucks. Well, Eye Killer's okay. I shouldn't rip... Both of these guys are actually okay. I'm just ripping on them. No, the Eye of Fear and Flame is my second favorite that we're going to cover today. There's one more I'm looking forward to getting towards, but you'll know when you see it. I'll just read it in whole, and then you'll understand what I mean. The Eye of Fear and Flame is a hooded man-sized figure. The face is always invisible. The interior of the hood being seen as an opaque black screen. It constantly stalks the underworld, seeking lawful or lawful neutral parties or individuals. It will command an individual or member of a party to perform evil deeds, speaking the alignment tongue appropriate to the individual addressed, since it has permanent no alignment power and can speak all alignment languages. Alignments had their own language back in the day. Common was something different. The nature of the deeds will vary, but they will be uniformly evil. If the eye is attacked or its commands are not obeyed, it will cast back the hood to reveal a bare skull with a red jewel in one eye socket and a black jewel in the other. The red gem unleashes a 12-die fireball once every 3 melee rounds, while the black gem acts as a fear wand every melee round. The gems are worth 1 to 2,000 GP each, though they lose their properties when removed from the skull or when the creature is killed. If melee is going against the creature, it has the power to transfer to the ethereal plane, taking 2 melee rounds to do so, where it will try to make its escape. It has no means of fighting hand to hand. If the spells blindness or power word kill are cast on the eye, they will be reflected back to the caster with no loss of power. It is said that the eyes of fear and flame were created by the chaotic evil gods for destruction of lawfuls, or by the lawful neutral gods for their testing, which I think is a way funnier outcome. The truth is hidden. It is rumored that only about 20 of these creatures exist. So, reading comprehension test. What the fuck? Do you see why I love these little fuckers? They are arguably even funnier than the Crypt Thing. Because, like, you have, like, on paper, each of the individual things, he walks around in the underworld. Underworld being, in this case, like, the shitty parts of town. And he talks to good people, and he shoots eye fire. But it's more than that. At the end of the day, the Eye of Fear and Flame is a total dick. So this little fucker sneaks around in his robe. They love their robes, skeletons do. That's one thing you might notice. And he's going around in the bad part of town. It's dark outside. Maybe you just finished drinking at the nice dive bar in your neck of the woods, a local favorite. The glasses are never clean. The beer is almost certainly watered down, but it's cheap and the company's good. And you're a good guy. You leave the bar, and this skeleman jumps out and he goes, "Bleh." You're like, "Oh God, I can't see your face. It's a black screen where your face should be." And you're like, "Okay, well, what's up, Mr. Robe guy?" And he says, "Kill that homeless man now." And you say, "No, what the fuck, dick? Of course I won't do that." And he goes, "Yeah? Are you sure?" And you're like, "Yes, I'm absolutely sure. Why would I kill the homeless man?" And he throws back his hood and he goes, "Bleh," and he shoots fire at you. This dickhead is just walking around disadvantaged parts of town, looking for good boys, and saying, "Hey, do something evil, please." And then when they reasonably say, "Get fucked," he shoots fire about it. Or he shoots scary at them. He's just a dick. He's a skeleton. He gets nothing out of this. And I like the idea that the good gods were like, "Oh, we'll unleash 20 of these dickheads around, and they'll test our boys. They'll see, they'll see if they really are good boys." And so the good gods put out these things that do evil things and try to get more people to do evil just to make sure that they're really good. It doesn't make sense. It's ridiculous. It's stupid as fuck. I love it. There's a few other things in here. Fire snake, fire toad. Flail snails are kind of fun. Flind. They're like a knoll, but better. The Flumph, which at the time I doubt anybody was using. They're like little jellyfish boys, and that's about it. They're really nothing special. Frostman, he's a really cold guy, and that's about it. Galtrit, it's a little gremlin. Um, they live in shitty areas. Their saliva is anesthesia, and it looks like it's just a vampire bat, but it's a little guy instead. Imagine, like, you get bit and you're like, ah, fuck, vampire bat. And you slap it and you pull back a little guy. That's the Galtrit. Oh, did you? You missed my whole discussion of arguably the best monster in the game. Well, you'll have to go and look at the VOD. Bummer. We're gonna get to my next favorite here in just a second, so you really haven't missed much. I'm just giving you shit. Gambado. That's just like some syllables. This guy's kind of funny though. Extraordinary looking creatures are man-sized with powerful human torso and two arms ending in... wow, that's kind of small text even for me, huh? Two arms ending in very sharp claws, supported on the thin but very strong neck is the creature's head, which is a skull, usually of an animal but sometimes of primitive man. The lower part of the creature consists of a cylinder of muscle and skin, which can be compressed spring-style and released, below which are three long, thin, single-toed feet in the manner of locomotion. Its manner of locomotion. So it kind of springs around on its one gross, or three long feet. Wow, fuck. Doing a terrible job here. So it springs around. Basically, he lives in a hole and he springs out and he goes, "Gah." That's it. Got some giants. This is some of the art that I was going to feature on the art segment. Like, look at this. This kicks so much ass. You got your Gith fighting like a classic D&D party. You got like a little rogue hiding back here. The fighter is up front ready to go. Very classic wizard. Got some detailing in the dungeon. The Gith's enchanted silver swords. They look, kind of creepy, kind of weird. But the art is also just a little bit fucked, right? Like, I'm not sure what this guy's expression is. He looks like he might have gotten into this fight a little bit sooner than he would have liked. He really wanted to go to the bathroom, but he was caught, he was caught pants down, right? And he's clenching for dear life. That's my headcanon. It's giving old-timey Hobbit movie is very accurate. Especially down here. The Gith are fine. There's Githzerai and Githyankai. The Gorble. I love the Gorble. He's just like a gross little rubbery ball. And he clenches onto you and he sucks your blood. Does he suck blood? I'm trying to remember. I gotta read it now. Oh, the Grell's a classic. I wish he wasn't on the same page as the Gorble, because we will talk about the fucking Grell. Attack, claw. Yeah, no, the Gorble's a fucking freak. So the Grell, it's like a gross brain with a beak, and it's got octopus tentacles, and it floats around and it'll pull you into little pieces. They're big too. Like, they're not small. Like, this is a not insignificant size. These tentacles, it says here, are 6 feet long. So that kind of gives you an idea of about how big this orbular portion is. And they just kind of kick it in runes. We get some proper art too. And this in particular is really good. I'm very partial to this art. Like, I like it a whole hell of a lot more than I liked the previous art, where the guy looked like he was desperately trying not to shit. I like to imagine it's the same party. Johnny can't shit over here. I like to imagine he's gone into another bathroom and he's having a terrible time over here as well. You might hate him, but the Grell is, in my opinion, he's a classic. He's like an important stepping stone to where we got to today. The Grell sucks. His design makes no sense. He's a fucked up brain that eats you. And he has tentacles, and he flies. The Grell is an asshole. It doesn't make any sense. There's no, like, later D&D stuff had some discussion of what a monster's sort of ecology might look like, right? What its cycle of life, where it lives. You know, more thought was put into it. But here, the octopus brain. Is anyone kind in a dungeon? Well, the carbuncle might be. And the Crypt Thing, if you're nice to him. Guardian Demon and Familiar. Guardian Demon, I think, has great art. He's just like, oh, you cracked open what I'm in, and I jump out and I get you. Guardian Familiar he looks a little smarter. I like his eyes. But these pages are not really what I'm here for. What we're here for is the Big Dog Ultimate Motherfucker 1000. My all-time favorite boy. Not the Hound of Ill Omen. We're going to make this a little more clear, in case it wasn't. Whoopsies. In case it wasn't utterly clear. This is my favorite guy. This guy is my number one favorite guy. You don't fuck with my number one favorite guy. Alright? On the hypothetical tier list that we've been discussing, the Hook Horror gets his own rank. Alright? Normally you have like F or E or D. It depends on your list. And that'll go up to S. Hook Horror, he gets his own rank. HH. Because this guy rocks. Look at how shit he is. He's got these little tiny calves. His little tiny thighs. His torso is most of his body. It's like 3 times the length of his legs in their crouched position. Okay, maybe twice the length. He's got like these big muscle man arms. And this is a shell, I should note. This whole thing is technically a bug. He's got like muscle man arms, and the later Hook Horrors, they're like long, graceful hooks. No, this is, you got some ripped He-Man arms, and at the wrist it turns into a tiny hook. And I think that's hilarious. They suck so bad. I love the Hook Horror. He's terrible. No notes. There's a few other guys in here that are probably a little less interesting to you all. The Huekuva, however the fuck you want to pronounce that. He's just a stinky, nasty boy, and if you touch him, you get like herpes or something. And by herpes, I mean an acute cardiovascular renal disease. So your heart and your kidneys, like you piss your heart out. It's not good. Hound of Ill Omen, take a guess what you think it is. It's exactly what you think it is. It shows up when you're gonna die, and when you get hurt worse. Got a bunch of little fellas over here. Some very, Lilliputian, would that be the word? Very Gulliver's Travels. I like this horrible iron cobra made by this cleric over here. He's like, yeah, well, the temple, I can't protect it, but my good friend Steel Cobra can. And I got no issues with that. Commodon, that is a wretched leopard, except it has snakes also. No notes. No notes. Karga, these are not swimming in the air, these are swimming in the earth. They're like gross flesh turbines that scoot around in the earth. They're really nothing special. I like this guy. He's doing a walk like a certain beetle. I look at him and he reminds me of, let's see if I can find it here, give me a second. No, I don't eat shit. Come on, give me the picture. Alright, I look at that guy. I look at the Kilmoulis. And I look at John Lennon. John Lemon, you've got that exactly correct. I see the resemblance. Kuatoa. They're little fish fellas. They're kind of fun. Technically, I have to do a one-page view for this. Because they're... It was art, so I don't think Twitch would have a problem, but better to not have it on screen too long. You look at this and you tell me this isn't fucking beyond rad. We've got like some gladiator fighter type of guy. He's barely clothed. He's got the fucking chainmail loincloth. He is wearing more belt than he has dick covering, but it's just enough to carry another fucking sword. He's slashing this lizard guy in the neck, and there's more of them. But check out that power stance. Fucking impeccable. I love this shit. 10 out of 10. Lava Children, these guys are fucking weird. I'll just read it. These humanoids are approximately... Just got out of D&D night, what's up? Hey, Greenheart, you've picked a good time. I'm doing kind of a dry run and getting my feet on the ground for a section I have planned, a segment I have planned, where we're just looking over some AD&D, Fiend Folio type shit, and we're discussing some art, and yeah, how a bunch of these monsters were just really, really shit. Just we have a few new people in the chat. I will back it up very briefly, just to point out a couple of favorites. Don't worry, we'll jump right back to where we were in a second. Crypt Thing, he's a prick. You go into his house, and he teleports your friend away. And then you're like, where'd my friend go? He's like, oh, I don't know. Disintegrated, probably. Pfft. And he's a fucking asshole. I love him. 10 out of 10. And then the other one is the Eye of Fear and Flame. I love this guy. He kind of hangs out in the bad part of town, and he looks for good boys, and when he finds one, he's like, hey, do something evil, please. And then when you say no, he shoots fire out of his eyes at you. Or he shoots scary at you. One eye shoots fire, one eye shoots scary. And he just sneaks around looking for good boys and saying, do something evil. He's a total fucking prick. I love him. But, of course, we discussed my all-time favorite, the Hook Horror. I love this guy, especially in his original art. The Hook Horror just rocks so much. 10 out of 10. HH rank, above S, no notes. He's my perfect special boy. We're also specifically discussing the art. Now, the lava children, these guys are fucked. These humanoids are approximately the same size as a broadly built man. However, they have a curious childlike appearance, with pinkish white skin and a permanent smile. They are the unnatural offspring between spirits of earth and fire. In melee, they fight with their clawed hands, and they bite you. They have a peculiar immunity. Metal simply does not exist for lava children. Thus, any metal object can pass through them without harming them. They can move through metal without hindrance. Any metal worn by a victim of their attack is ignored for the purposes of computing armor class. This period of the game is unavoidably funny. I swear this was a comedy game before 3rd. 1st edition, I love so many of the shitty creatures. I love the wacky things that everyone got up to. The systems that no one expected them to do. The 2nd edition really fleshes it out and gets into more detail and more shit. It's just 1st edition, but more of it, and I love it. Did anyone ever watch the animated Neverending Story? They look kind of like the Rock guys. I mean, a little. They're weird fellas out here, but didn't the Rock guys look like proper rock golems? In any case, it's a magnesium spirit. I'm not even going to read. 3 or 4 of these exist. I can't be bothered. We're here for the art. The Measle, the Meanlock, the Mephit. The Meanlock, I do like his whole vibe, but he's also kind of got the Crab Man thing going on. Same type of hands. A lot of these things, especially at this stage, are just... they're not really differentiated enough from each other. They don't have enough identities, maybe a better way to put it. Necrophidius, it's a spine lad. He does a fancy dance, and he paralyzes you with his fancy dance. Pretty straightforward. He looks dope as hell, though. You might notice with my favorites that I'm very partial to skeletons. Needleman. The Needleman is fucked. He really sucks, but I'll read it. The wood-dwelling, intelligent form of plant life looks like a zombie, but in fact is neither animal nor of the undead class. Embedded in its flesh all over its body are masses of small sharp needles, like pine needles, so not that sharp. Each round it may fire 1 to 6 of these needles, each of which inflict 1 to 2 hit points of damage on a victim. So he's a gross, stanky plant man, and he shoots pine needles at you. This guy fucking sucks. Greenheart brings up some very useful information, which I had not covered, and so I'm glad that you have. A bunch of these creatures were originally based on the awful, cheaply made plastic Chinese toys that Gygax would order in the mail. Many of the others were inside jokes with his playgroup. I know that the Grell was one of those toys. I believe the Rust Monster was one of those toys. And I'm pretty sure the... was it the... No, that was the Hook Horror one of them also? I know that like a bunch of the all-time super classics were the Chinese garbage. The Owl Bear, thank you. Nicodemon, Ogrelon. It's an ogre-orc crossbreed. He's real ugly. He's very strong. Ozquip. That's nothing. This sucks. This isn't even worth me reading it. The Penangalan. That would be a Filipino, I believe, folklore is where that one came from. And it got adopted. This guy's a lot of fun. I shouldn't say guy. This lady is a lot of fun. She looks like a normal lady during the day. She can even act like a normal lady. She can talk with you. She can go out in the sun. However, At night, she will detach her head from her body, at which point the party has to make, anyone who sees this happen, has to make a save. Otherwise, you can just straight up fucking die from how upsetting that was to watch. Someone's head ripped clean from their body and pull all the organs out with it. It's a lot of fun. It can only turn women, I believe. It's pretty cool. Protein polymorph. Intelligent cellular colony with the ability to assume any form they choose. There's a lot of these amorphous creatures. Every lady does that. I've heard. No lady has been nice enough to show me her horrible ripped out organs, and I think I'm probably okay with that. But yeah, there's a ton of these, amorphous fucking things. Yeah, it implies a lot of intimacy. You know what? I think I'm okay with not having that level of intimacy. The Retriever, that's fine. The Revenant, I love the Revenant. I've always loved the Revenant. I had a... Well, I can't say that. I may have had a Revenant in one of my recent campaigns. These guys are so cool because they get killed and then they get back up again. And they're like, oh, you fucked up so bad. Not only am I going to hunt you and any of your buddies that get between you and me to the end of the earth, I'm going to kill the shit out of them. And if you keep hitting me, that's fine, because I'm just going to start regenerating. And I'm not going to stop until one of us is dead, and I'm already dead, so I guess that means it's just you. And it's just a bad motherfucker with huge undead super strength that just clubs the fuck out of you with some big-ass hands, and it just pummels you until you're meat. These guys fucking rock. I love Revenants. Sandman. It's a man made of sand, right as it says here. More magical cohesion. This one isn't atomic, unlike the other one that we saw. Scarecrow. It's a scarecrow. Screaming Devilkin. You even get to keep your nose on the Revenant. Well, this one does, but up here it's starting to rot away a little bit. Also, I think they knew the Revenant was cool, because he gets 2 pieces of art. I also like to imagine this is a before and after. Like, this is him peeking around the corner, being like, is that the motherfucker who killed me? And then he rounds the corner on this one. He's like, oh, it's the motherfucker who killed me. It's on. Except he would know. He would know that it was the motherfucker who killed him, because the Revenant has permanent awareness of where the bastard is. He will find you. He will get you. He doesn't get tired, and he's gonna make you pay. 10 out of 10. S rank. Love that shit. The Sheet Phantom is very funny, so I'll read this. The Sheet Ghoul's another thing. A greatly feared undead creature is a form of wraith, but is unusual as a member of the undead class in that it in no way resembles a human. It appears as a near-transparent rectangle. It's like a sheet, and it goes around you, and it suffocates you. And that's it. When you die, you turn into the Sheet Ghoul, who, for some reason, squirts corrosive acid from its nose. I mean, come on. Like, yeah, no, that makes sense. The first monster is themed after being wrapped up in like a big old plastic sheet that kills you. What sort of powers would someone who can, suffocate people, what is thematically appropriate? Oh, a fine jet of corrosive acid from its nose. That's not, like, narratively dissonant in any way. I love it. Sheet Phantom fucking sucks. Shocker. It's fine. Skeleton Warrior. It's a skeleton, but it's better. That's basically it. Skulk. These guys are kind of fun, but like, you know, they I don't think they could ever be a primary focus in a campaign. Maybe like something that you run into. Members of the human race with tendencies to extreme cowardice. Basically, they're so scared and they don't like being around normal people that they start to hate them, and then they got to be really good at camouflage, and now they like lash out at humans. Slad are also toy beasts. I would really like to see the art that the Slad came from. A bunch of these guys, there's a lot of character in each of these images. Like, ooh, I'm a little crazy, I'm a little creepy. Bleh. And this one's proud and strong. He's a little dopey. He's got like some real fucking like presence. And this guy, I don't know, it's fine. He's just a guy. I do really like Igorl, the Lord of Entropy. He's an all-black skeleton on a dragon. What more could you possibly ask for? Snyad. I don't remember what these guys do. They sneak around and steal stuff. Great. Son of Kios. These are a really gross dead guy, and they're full of worms. Susurrus. This is like it's like a big fucking monster, but it's made out of like this fucked up lattice type shape of spikes and nonsense. At least I believe it's a lattice. Sviberniblin, how the fuck you want to pronounce that? Sviberniblin is how I always did it. Probably not right. Symbiotic jelly. A lot of stuff about the fucking jellies. Tabaxi. This is what Tabaxi looked like back in the day. You know, now they're more like a cat girl ranging to a Khajiit. Back then, very quick. Zverbniblin. It sounds like I'm saying like a spell backwards or something. Tabaxi back then, they're just weird cat people. Now people are horny for them. Creepy little cave guy. Thork. Throat leech. I really it gets into your drink and then it starts to burrow into your throat. I think it's not necessarily like a special type of creature that does that. I think if you put any like normal leech, you'd probably get that result. Most worms, a sufficiently sized roach might give you that result. Throat leech, it's alright. This is another one of my all-time faves. The Tirafeg. It's like this gross triple dude with like features all over the place. It's just gross and weird. I love it. Shape is human-like, but there are significant deviations from the human form. Creature has 3 heads. Outer 2 are featureless. 3 legs. It's one of the legs has toes, the other ones are just stumps. It's very fucked up. I very much like him. Trillock. It looks like it is just like antimatter that floats around, right? Energy being from the negative material plane. Do I recognize what the Tirafeg is? I do not. I at least offhand, I don't. Maybe they used my likeness. You might not know it, but that's what I look like. That's what's on the computer in front of you. As a kid, did you ever stand at the edge of a mirror? What do you mean? Like you put your forehead... Ooh, excuse me. Like you put your forehead all the way up against it? No, I guess that's not something I ever really did. You're gonna at the end of the stream, you're gonna see me standing on the fucking sink in my bathroom, trying to jam half my body against the mirror until I slip on the soap and crack my goddamn head open. There's a few other cool creatures here, but they're not necessarily as interesting. I think there's one more bit of art that I really want to get to. Spirit Troll is kind of cool. Tween is... it's fine. My siblings and I would do it. Those big wall mirrors. It's named the reflective monument at the town veteran org. I'm gonna have to try this with the mirror when I'm done with stream tonight. Vortex, it's what it sounds like. Yeah, these are all fine. I do like this particular art of the Volt. Svart. Weird little blue gnomes. There we go. Here's the art I'm looking for. Yeah, the Svart is a little the Zill went on, the Svart did not. The Zill's let's admit it, alright? Let's just all agree here. The Svart sucks, dude. This guy blows. He's bad to look at. He's got very hairy ears. His head's too big. He sucks. But no, this is the art that I was talking about at the very beginning of the stream. I don't know who really was there to hear my preamble, but ultimately I had a stack of manuals in a cardboard tote. Inside a blue bag, there was a bunch of these tomes, and I would just dig through the art, and I'd look at all the ink drawings, and I could just imagine all sorts of cool shit. And then you see something like this, and it rocks. I'm going to need to do some research on who did what. Yeah, we got more art back here. Some kind of a Valkyrie. I'm loving that troll. The Cyclops, that's a bad look for a Cyclops. The eye needs to be bigger, but that's okay. I think there's the Steel Cobra we were looking at before. And this guy, I love this guy. You can tell he's just having the time of his life. If you're a spellcaster, and you're like, I'm a spellcaster, and I shoot magic in a dour and dignified kind of way, get fucked. Alright? If you can manipulate the powers of creation and shoot fucking lightning from your hands, have fun with it, right? There's no need to be a miserable fucking asshole about it. You're allowed to have fun. You can shoot lightning from your hands. Someone can try to tell you not to have fun, and they'll tell you wrong. Because guess what? You make the rules when you shoot lightning out of your hands. We have some collages of different monster types. Undead collage. Really loving the Son of Kyos here. He sucks. Yeah, these guys are cool. Sort of a more fey collage. There's our friend the Carbuncle from the beginning. And that shitty fucking... however the fuck you pronounce it. It was a long Stupid name. The Al Mirage, the unicorn rabbit. I'd respect it more if it was like your classic. What do you call them when you taxidermy on deer antlers onto a rabbit? What the fuck is that fucker called again? I should know this. That's a thing that we see out here. Well, they're not real, but like as a taxidermy. It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh well. So this was sort of a quick journey down memory lane, what was very, very formative for me. I'm going to very quickly rush through first edition as well, just so we can show that off, and then we can probably try something different or wrap from there. Let me just quick change it. One moment. Alright, how's the formatting look? And I'm going to zoom it out one click. As I said, we're here for the art specifically. So yeah, we'll burn through a couple of these real fast. I have so many fond memories for these things. Oh, there's the Bulette. Love that guy. Carnivorous ape. Axe beak. Balachotherium. Okay. This is what they thought the Beholder should look like. I mean, look at this guy. He sucks. Just really kind of creepy. I believe the Beholder was one of those monster toys that Greenheart mentioned. Black Pudding. Let's see. The Brain Mole. The Brownie. A lot of the art at this stage was like there was clearly an improvement moving from because Fiend Folio was essentially an expansion on first edition Monster Manual. You start with first edition, and then Fiend Folio was like if you wanted to get real weird with it. And so a lot of these guys, again, loving this ink art. It's got like a certain style, a certain vibe. It's clean in a particular way that I just love it. But it's also a little bit shit. This is what they thought bugbears should look like at the time. The Catoblepas, or however you want to pronounce that, it has seen a number of changes throughout the different editions. They're alright. The Chimera art is just really... Oh, fuck. The Chimera art is just... It's so classic. Different sources will have your Chimera different. This is always the Chimera for me. The Cockatrice looks rad. The Coatl looks rad. Demogorgon looks okay. You got a bunch of demons. Jubilex is like, what the fuck are we even looking at? There's Orcus. Just a bunch of demons. Referred to as types back then. Bone to Bone Demon. Love that little guy. He's got like a weird bone spear and a scorpion tail, but he's not really a skeleton, he's just very thin. That's alright. Ice demons go on to look way cooler later on, but like a cold praying mantis in hell at the time I thought was just beyond rad. They're an all-time favorite. Lemire, bad to look at. We got a bunch of different dinosaur art. Some of them are okay. The Paleoskynus is okay. Megalosaurus is okay. T-Rex looks a bit shit. All-time favorite alert. All-time favorite alert. One of the best monsters ever. This beautiful boy. That's the Displacer Beast. Love this guy. It's this time he's rendered in, I think for tattoos they'd call this American Classic, where it's got the whole form of art here registers to me almost like a tattoo, right? Like if I hadn't played D&D and maybe I was in prison and I saw this, I'd look at it and I'd be like, oh yeah, that's no, it looks sufficiently like the black cat tattoo that you might see on some, well, let's just say anarchists might have a cool black cat tattoo, or whoever has it has different meanings, but like there's a certain look to it. And if I saw this, I'd think, hey, that's a dope tattoo. But no, he's a sweet six-legged cat with two tentacles, and he's not where you think he is. Like you go to slash with your sword, and you meet only air as your blade passes through. Instead, from the side, where you didn't even look, you're being chewed apart by something that appears to be a few feet from the side. Hey, Meg. We're talking about the Displacer Beast right now. And how the Displacer Beast is like an all-time super-duper cool monster. And I love this guy. Like one of my all-time favorites. He is a kitty, but he's rendered in this one like a tattoo, and I think that's so fucking cool. But we're getting hung up on the kitty cat. Doppelgangers looked fucked back then. I'm looking for some of the big art. Some of these dragons look pretty cool. Tiamat looked alright. Bahamut looks a bit fucked. The red dragon looks a bit fucked. Silver dragon's pretty rad, though. Dwarves are okay. The Efreeti, so much personality in this art. He's mean. He is big. He's looking down on you with utter contempt. Very good. Elf. I'll say it. I was never big on elves. Elves suck. I'll hang out with a dwarf over an elf any day of the week. But then they're making their beholder, right? And back then they're like, oh well, we got a beholder. What about it's kind of like a beholder but underwater? Or it looks like a beholder but you stab it and it fucking explodes because it's not actually a beholder, you fucking idiot. It's alright. A lot of the giant art, I think, is very expressive in the way that I like. The ghost, I mean, you told someone in the 80s to draw like a spooky fantasy ghost. That's what you'll get. That's fine. The cloud giant, he looks so smug. It's like, oh, you come up here onto my cloud? Hey, you, get off of my cloud. And he fucking brains you with that big-ass stick. The fire giant looks unbound and ferocious, like he's going to cleave you in half with that giant sword. Frost giant, just a dwarf, but fucking huge. Makes sense. Hill giant, stupid as fuck. Alright, the art really communicates that. Is that body hair, or is that just like furs that he's wearing? He's disgusting. He's dumb. It's communicated. No notes. Stone giant. I mean, look at him, and what is he about? It speaks it to you. Storm giant, it's alright. Golems were always one of my all-time favorites. Flesh golems in particular, I always thought were super cool. Back then, and to an extent to this day, a lot of the golems that you could create would, if you did kind of a bad job, or maybe you, what's the word? Or maybe they're just getting their ass beat, right? They can go berserk and go totally out of control. And like for the flesh golem, like you've made your horrible malformed son out of a dozen dead bodies, and he goes completely nuts, and he's like smashing everything in half, and he's getting ready to pull you apart, and you look at him and you talk firmly but calmly. Hey buddy, it's all good. And he might recognize you as his creator, and he might deign to spare you. Or he might just pull your arms off and beat you to death with it for your hubris of making a man out of fucking meat. These things are rad. I love them. Clay Golem, he's okay. He's a bit plain. Iron Golem, he fucking breathes poison. It's alright. Guess you gotta differentiate him somehow. Gorgon, I mean, look at that. It's at this point I'm more here for the art than the monsters, because these are all pretty straightforward. But I do really dig the Gorgon art in particular. I was never partial to the various oozes, though. They kind of suck. Harpies, hellhounds, hippogriffs. A homunculus. It's exactly what it sounds like. The intellect devourer. It's like a gross dog with a brain for a body. The art on this one's pretty good because it really gets aside just how visceral and fleshy it is. Some of the art doesn't do an awesome job doing that, but this does. Ixidocchidal, I can't pronounce that. Ixidchitidal? Okay, whatever. Werewolves, Kirin, kobolds, lamias. I'm looking for something in particular. The Lich, the classic Lich art, awesome. Creepy, gross spellcaster. No notes. Lurker above, the ceiling falls on you and now you're dead. The monster. Various lycanthropes. The Mind Flayer gets two arts. This kind of plain art up here, and this more comic book styled one down here. Mind Flayers are an all-time classic, and I think that the moves to more colored and realistic art did them a lot of favors. I'm not sure how well represented they are in black and white. They're not as threatening, I should say. Minotaur, Mold, Mummy, Naga, Naga's okay. Night Hag, creepy, crazy, horrible. What's she gonna do? She's gonna get you. Probably took a lot of ink to print that. It's cool. Where is it? This is what they thought the owl bear would look like back then. Or the Periton. Periton's still kind of cool. I never really got tired of the elk bird. Piercer, these guys suck. The Piercer it's a stalactite. Except it's not. It's just a horrible, like, gross crustacean shaped like a spike. And so it just sort of crawls up the wall, and then it drops on you, and it hopes that it stabs you, because it's a long crawl back up. Pixie, giant Portuguese man of war. I would have liked to have seen art for that. Pseudo Dragon. Purple Worm looks way better in later editions. Quasit's okay. The Rakshasa he's okay. Backwards hands aren't very well represented in this art. Rock Grub. The Rust Monster. All-time classic. Has like a fucking propeller tail here for some reason. These guys suck. They're a pain in the ass. You are an asshole if you use them. It's even eating its little frame. Very cute. There should be one more big art to share. Literal sea lions. Shambling Mound is a lot of fun. They're like a gross plant type creature, and they will. There it is. All right, I think there might be one more besides this, which is this big ass fucking spider that comes down and fucking gets you. It's just there's a lot in here, and it really shows how in its element and prepared it is, and everyone else looks tired and maybe a little scared and a little haggard. Look at how like long and drawn their beards are. Like they're ready, but they're not as ready as this guy. The Thought Eater, this guy fucking sucks. He's like a gross little platypus that attacks your psionic energy. Trapper is the reverse of the lurker above. This little fucker is the floor that gets you. Just total bullshit. Troll, Umber Hulks are kind of fun. The unicorn gets some really good classic art. Just very, very classic. Got a little tower there in the background. The vampire, done by the same guy who did the Lich. Very, very 80s vampire. Our understanding and how we look at them now is a bit different, but for its time, very appropriate. Wraith, he's like, it's like fucked up energy and emotion, and like if you see this thing in your room at night, terrifying. I would be way more scared with the Wraith than the Zorn. Here we are. This is it. This is what I was looking for. It's just, god damn. Like, it's clearly, I gotta say, gotta be influenced by The Hobbit. I mean, of its time, it makes sense. Got like this little small dude here. I assume this big wizardy fellow. The Will-o'-the-Wisp art. I'd be happy to go back and look at it. I mean, the composition of the shot is really nice. Like, you can tell that we're out in, like, a marsh at night. The water is dark. You know, I will say, maybe you're on to something, Greenheart, because it makes really nice use of... Because you're either, like, colored in all black ink, or you're not. And for the type of environment that the Will-o'-the-Wisp is operating in, it does make nice use of the art form. Whereas you have something like the Wyvern, and it's like, I don't fucking know. Big circles. Not to complain, I do love the Wyvern art. But I think you might be on to something. I'm here more for vibes and feeling, because that's how I approached this when I was first exposed to it. Which is why I'm just so excited. Also, have I hit you guys with my Yeti theory yet? God, this is just so good. Like this guy back here, his eyes are dark. Like you can read each of the different figures, right? Like yeah, he's got the creepy knife, but he's happy. He is here for the money. And he's like, ha, the plan, it comes together. A heist is working out just fine. But we know that trouble is afoot. There's the sword here. And this guy, you can't read him. And in a case like this, that's trouble. What's he about? We know what everyone here is about. Is betrayal about to strike? Who knows? I love it. The Yeti is... I gotta snooze these ads again. The Yeti... Alright, so I'm gonna say it. Bigfoot is bullshit. Bigfoot, more like big shit. It's not real. Bigfoot sucks. Alright? All those people going out squatching, at the end of the day, they're just having male bonding time in the woods, sometimes shooting guns, sometimes getting scared and running around at noises in the woods, and ultimately that's probably good for them. I actually have no issue with that. But it's bullshit. Alright? It's a bunch of different hoaxes. A creature of that size would have been seen, unless it was supernatural in some respect, And I'm sorry, I don't believe in the supernatural. Um, as much as like I like the idea of psychics and like invisibility and magic powers, I don't buy it. You know, could Bigfoot be a psychic warrior? Maybe. I don't think so though. The Yeti, however, I think is infinitely more compelling, right? Because you're out in the mountains, the Himalayas. Those are some big fucking mountains. And you know what's not out in the big, rare, large stretches are never trekked by people. Just completely, wild, truly wild, right? Like, yeah, you could fly a helicopter over it or something. But generally speaking, there are entire square miles of the Himalayas that probably don't see people at all over the course of a year. And, you know, in the cold, predators have a greater reason to grow to large sizes, right? We see it with like polar bears or Kodiak bears or you know, just like the if it's cold, it makes more sense for your body for the heat that you lose for a larger body plan. All right? If you were to tell me that, hey, there's a big, like a Bigfoot running around in the desert, right? It wouldn't make sense. In the forests, it makes a little more sense, but like in the lower 48 states, you're not going to even see a grizzly in most of those, let alone a larger, intelligent, man-size or larger humanoid. However, out in the Himalayas, where there's nobody, something like that could totally exist, right? There are already primates in surrounding regions. No, we're snoozing the ad again. I'm not done talking about the Yeti. There's already primates in the surrounding regions, and they're already large ground predators. Uh, was it the Swiss Alps, I want to say? We thought that the blue bear had gone utterly extinct because no one had seen it in like 80 fucking years. And then someone just saw it because guess what? You're sometimes not going to see things when they live in the mountains because they're in the fucking mountains where they want to be left alone. For the record, the blue bear is just like a different type of the black bear. Its coat is just a little bit different, but it's regionally different enough that it's a thing that people could differentiate versus your standard black bear. It's a whole thing. In any case, big creatures live out there. Things just disappear out there. Primates exist up there, and I don't know. There's an entire like cultural like history and belief of these large primates being out in the mountains, which on its own isn't super valuable. In fact, any of these things on their own aren't valuable, but combined together, now we have the makings of something believable. Yeah, but we don't actually have like any primates that exist up here, right? And also, it turns out that a lot of those Bigfoot, you know, Native Americans said this or saw that. Turns out a lot of that was just a couple of guys like claiming that they said this. A lot of the examples of, if you actually like follow them back to what was actually said, if it was even a genuine quote or account in the first place, they vary pretty wildly from what we describe as Bigfoot. Like, yes, big nature spirit type man guy, but when it starts to become like, hey, he's fully haired, or you get into any descriptors at all about him or what he does, it varies pretty wildly versus what we would describe. So those cases are on their own, I don't consider super compelling. But again, like I said, that on its own, even in the Himalayas, not as compelling. But we actually do have primates that exist out in that part of the world. And as far as like the environment goes, it makes more sense to have a large primate out there anyway, versus out here in like the temperate forests and the deserts and shit. No, it just maybe a small primate, but like a big one, ecologically it makes less sense. In any case, am I saying that the Bigfoot is 100% fake? Yes. Am I saying that the Yeti is 100% for real true? No. I just think that if we were to take a look at every cryptid out there, that I think the Yeti is infinitely more likely to exist than any of the other cryptids out there. Like, do I want to meet Mothman? And do I want to slap his juicy ass? Yeah. But do I think Mothman exists? No. Or the Jersey Devil? Nah. They're cool, but I think that the Yeti is the most compelling. Yeah. Greenheart says, according to Hal Comelin and other coast sailors' traditions, Sasquatch was a powerful but generally benign supernatural creature in the shape of a very large hairy man. Like I said, even just having like folklore on its own, like that's only one small piece, and on its own I don't find that compelling. But when combined with the other factors, way more makes sense. Cosmic Apocalypse says, Mothman is real, and we made out in a Denny's parking lot. Lucky. I'll never get to slap Mothman's juicy ass. Nessie? Bullshit. Why would Nessie exist? Nessie doesn't make any sense. Really, there's a strange dinosaur fellow, and he just kind of hangs out in one Irish lake. Are there many of them? Do they have a way out to the ocean? If they had a way out to the ocean, why don't we see them out in the ocean? Why is there just one? It's lame. Most of your lake monsters here in the States, and I know a few of them. Bullshit. Doesn't make sense. But if I was a betting man and you said, hey, Dendy, pick one of these motherfuckers to be real, and if you're right, I won't kill you. My bet and my life is laid gently in the Yeti's capable hands. My argument is not that they are meaningful in one case and not meaningful in the other. My argument is in fact that, and I wouldn't necessarily call that sightings, I'd call it folklore, right? My argument is that folklore in either case is in and of itself not terribly compelling to me. Because I know that here in North America, we don't really have any evidence of large primates besides us. Well, we had like Gigantopithecus, however many thousands of years ago. But in the modern record, within the past, even 1,000 years, we don't really have any, naturally occurring primates, let alone large naturally occurring primates. However, outside of the Himalayas, there are primates around on the outskirts of that. And so I find it believable that one could, or a population could migrate into the Himalayas and eventually evolve into something resembling what we would call a Bigfoot. So I would consider folklore or sightings, if you want to call it that, to be interesting, but not necessarily compelling without other factors at play, right? Like the lower 48 states or Canada. Bigfoot shows up in Canada also. For the most part, like environment-wise, just also not super conducive to a large primate, at least large primates as we know them today. So that's where I would say it's more. Again, I don't find it super valuable, but I find it more interesting or compelling in context. That's where I land with it. Because it has the other factors at play, whereas Bigfoot has other factors against it. That and we're out in the woods all the goddamn time. I've spent plenty of time out in the woods, right? And I imagine many Americans spend plenty of time out in the woods. We just haven't seen it. there's plausible, you know, like a possibility that it could exist down the Himalayas, because stuff does go up there just unseen for long periods at a time. There are just weird things out there. A project I was working on in my free time at my last job was a it was in Iowa, I want to say. A passenger plane just crashed in the Himalayas in World War II. It was some sort of a plane chain for moving supplies, and we just still haven't found it. There's an entire ass passenger plane just crunched up somewhere up there, entire cargo plane, I should say, crunched up in the Himalayas, and we just never found it since World War II. We even know its course and where it should have landed, but we just can't find it. And you are right that there is a lot of land that doesn't see people for years. But I would say on average, even that land sees more usage than just literally impassable mountain wilderness. To be fair, we do have literally impassable mountain wilderness here, but we're also populated at a way higher density around those areas. The odds of a encounter where someone who does go up there would brush against it, it goes up. Yeah, we're going to get an ad break in about 30 seconds here. So, am I able to fire off the ad right now? Nope, I have to do it on their time, it looks like. 20 seconds. During that time, I'm going to look and see if I can't find one more piece of art just for funsies. And there goes the ad. 3, 2, 1. Hey, Meg, just a second. You missed my entire rant about Bigfoot. Whoopsie. Oh, I didn't mean to launch that. Oh, god damn it. Close, please. Yeah, no, we were just, oh, god damn it. There goes all my credibility on the Bigfoot case. I wish you'd mentioned that you saw Bigfoot before the stream. I just talked about how... What the fuck? Is the ad happening or is it not happening? Why does this keep on... Did it just do 2 in a row? And tomorrow? Aw, damn it. An ad is happening? It just did 2 in a row. It was very strange. I was only supposed to do 1. No, you've gone and you've killed my Bigfoot cred. I was just going off on a huge rant on how Bigfoot is fake. He's fake and he doesn't exist. Well, that's my whole art segment. Now that we're kind of getting to a stage where we're wrapping this up, I guess I can discuss the next thing, which is one of the projects I've been working on. There's 2 projects. One is specifically a collection. You and Bigfoot are tight. Kill him for me. Kill Bigfoot. He won't expect it. Bring his pelt to the town square. A salute. I take that as a yes. No, I'm thinking of doing a large collection of... I will probably grab some of the D&D art that I showed off here, but there is a bunch of classic sci-fi book covers, fantasy book covers, some that were known to me as a kid, some that were known to me as an adult, and then just do an art section where we just kind of, it'll be like going to a museum, or we just look at and gush over art. But it's like weird, old sci-fi and fantasy. That section will have it'll have a sister section, which will be me specifically covering NES cover art, because I'm really very enthusiastic about specifically NES cover art. Crystallis, Solstice, Legend of Kage. I have a lot of thoughts about the old NES cover art, but also I have a lot of but very different thoughts about Atari cover art. Let me see if I can get a quick example of what I mean. Ba-ba-ba-ba. There's one. There's one in particular I'm looking for. I'll probably have to do more art because it's actually part of a series of covers. I don't want to ruin the surprise, but while we're here, I'll show off my all-time favorite game cover art. The size of this isn't great, but it'll have to do. So this is just some of the cover art out there. I believe this was Breakout. And Breakout was like a 2001 A Space Odyssey type emotional nightmare. And then you got my all-time #1 absolute favorite game cover art ever. If I could have this blown up onto like a big 3 by 4 foot poster without getting a ton of like video quality loss, not video quality, picture quality loss, I absolutely would. It's just like there's these fuckers on Mars, and they're in spacesuits, and a space dragon comes out, and he shoots a space beam out of his space horns, and he electro disintegrates your buddy, and you shoot him in the face, and it does nothing. I guess I'll hit you with the how do I put it? The thesis behind my cover art section I want to do is, back in the day, you might have had a magazine at best to tell you what games were good or bad. Most people didn't have that. They'd go into a store and they'd see a bunch of cardboard boxes with cover art on it. And so the game had to communicate everything about itself in one picture. Space Cavern? I want you to take a guess what Space Cavern is even about. I'll spoil it. It's just Space Invaders. It's 100% bootleg of Space Invaders. This game is bullshit. But it got, it's like, oh, it's not, Mardanian gets it, it's not, in space or in a cavern. That's why it's dark, that's why it's a black background. It's, don't mind the fact that it looks and plays identically to Space Invaders. It's Space Cavern. Yeah, that'll do. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And they had to communicate their entire thesis about their game, bullshit though it was, in this one picture. And I think that's awesome. I love it. It's good. There's a bunch of other really good ones out there that I'm gonna have to like unearth, because some of the methods for making cover art back then, especially when video gaming just became a thing and there was no standard, that a lot of that was very Wild West. One of them involves a black sheet with holes poked in the back, some fishing line, and a lot of silver spray paint. That's all I'll say, because I can't find the image. But yeah, this was my dry run of the presentation style of stream. I guess if anyone has any particular sort of critique, I'm down for it. I'm trying to get the format to be interesting, compelling. Words like that end in ing. Let's try one more time to find it. Oh fuck! Here it is. I found one of them. I found one of them. Are you ready? Get ready for Demon Attack. These are just toy plastic dinosaurs. I know this because my dad had the exact same set of toy plastic dinosaurs in a toy box upstairs that when I was able to go to my grandparents' place, the same dinosaurs were there. Difference is, these were painted silver with spray paint, and they had their eyes painted red, and they had some wings stuck on them. Demon Attack! What if this says demon? It's dinosaurs in space. This is closer to Space Cavern. The background is... it's really just a sheet with a bunch of holes punched through it. And they did something with exposure to get a lot of this. My understanding there's a whole series of cover arts that this is a part of, is that a lot of this was done in a fairly analog method. I mean, of course, it was digital photography wasn't yet a thing. It rocks. Look at it. It's got your bold block colors. It's in space. There's a bunch of shitty plastic dinosaurs with stuff glued to them. And make no mistake, they are hanging from the ceiling by fishing line. It's outstanding. It's perfect. What more could you possibly ask for? More modern game cover art should go like this. It's borderline impressionist, where it's like you have to kind of operate on your feelings in your heart. Like, how does this demon attack? What is a demon to me? Maybe impressionist isn't the right word, but you get my meaning. I love it. 10 out of 10, and I think that's a good note to end the section on. So we're going to quick pull up the end card for a moment.